Welcome to Doc's Download, the podcast edition, where real conversations meet real Buckeye life. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Shivers, Senior Vice President for Student Life, and better known as Doc, here to bring you stories, strategies, and a few laughs along the way. Whether you're a brand new Buckeye or a seasoned one, consider this your all-access pass to tips, truths, and triumphs straight from the heart of campus. Let's dive in, everybody. Welcome to Doc's Download. I am your host, Dr. Melissa Shivers, better known as Doc. And today we have some really, really special guests. I could not be more excited about the guests that we have joining us today. I am joined by two wonderful Buckeyes who have turned generosity, purpose, and a little bit of style into something truly transformational for our students. Allyson and Jimmy Reid both are proud. I don't know how to emphasize how proud they are to be alums of Ohio State and how fortunate that we are that they chose us and continue to be so engaged at this great university. They are with me today to talk about the inspiration behind the Reid Family Career Closet, an inviting, supportive space inside of the Monda Student Resource Center where students can find free professional attire that helps them to step into anything confidently. Interviews, internships, career opportunities. The Ohio Union, they have the ability to step into a space and feel really good about who they are. So also joining us today is a fantastic current Buckeye, Krista Bair. Krista is a third year studying computer science and engineering. I don't know when you sleep. That major seems big to me, Krista, from Tippecanoe, Ohio. Krista is the president of the Buckeye Food Alliance, which is also housed in the Monda Student Resource Center. And she is here today to share more about her experience utilizing the Reid Family Career Closet. Krista, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Very excited. I feel like, are going to laugh, we're going to get inspired, and we just might reveal who the real fashion expert is in the Reid household. I have my guesses, but listeners, it's going to be up to you to make the final determination. But most importantly, what we're going to do today is explore why having the right outfit is not always about the fashion. It's about how students can see themselves as capable, prepared, and ready for the extraordinary future that they're building here at Ohio State. So stick with us, everybody. It is going to be fun, functional, and style-forward conversation that you will not want to miss. All right, let's do this, team. We ready?
Ready.
Thank you, Jimmy. You sound ready.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. All right. My first questions, I'm going to start with Jimmy and Allyson. I have to start with the essentials between the two of you because I'm looking at both of you now. Very, very stylish. And I want to hear you talk a little bit about your style. And you can throw your kids into the mix if you would like. But who would you say is the fashion risk taker? And who is the play it safe dresser? And why?
You want to take that first? Or you want me to go?
You can go first.
So the risk taker, I think that a few of us in the family fall into that bucket. And my handsome husband over here has a very particular style, is well known in the community for his shoe collection as well, has a lot of sneakers, and really was probably one of the first people that would pair sneakers with a suit. So really sort of, matching that comfort with that style. And it really, really took off. And I think he's known for it, and he loves his sneakers, and it's one thing that he's really good at buying. I would say that I'm probably the fashion leader of the family, meaning that most of them will come to me with questions about what to purchase, what to wear. They will also go to Jimmy about what to wear on a particular evening or event. And we've taken some risks. I feel like we've gone to some, more conservative events, and I've worn a ball gown skirt with a T-shirt and a leather jacket comes to mind. But I think, what's most important is what you feel good in. Mm-hmm. And that is, the key to having a great night, having a great interview, feeling confident. It's just putting on what you feel good and dynamic in and going from there.
Allyson, as always, is being very humble. She is by far the fashion leader of not only the family, but probably of the community that we call the Peninsula, where we live on the Jersey Shore. So, but to echo kind of some of Allyson's comments, I think that you have to be comfortable in your own skin, and what you wear is part of that skin, and you should feel confident in that. And I think that she's always done a great job. The 37 plus years we've known each other, where, dressing to impress when it's necessary, but dressing for comfort. And as you guys were talking earlier, making sure that the accessories match the personality. So, I think over the years, the styles at work has, when we both started our careers in the late 80s, there was kind of a uniform, so to speak, that you had to wear. You didn't have a lot of individuality that you could pose. Now, so many companies are more business casual, so you can bring more of your personality into the workforce. Having done a ton of interviews over the last 20 years here at Ohio State, always try to give those current students tips on what to do and what not to do. I think I shared with you, Doc, in the past that, I've seen plenty of interviews where some gentlemen or young gentlemen have suits that are great and have, sweat socks on, and I coach them up at that point. And the socks should match the pair of pants, not the shoes. But I think that Allyson by far is the leader inside our family. I would say it's morphed over the years. Our oldest, Jackson, was conservative, now is becoming less conservative. Our middle two sons, one graduate, one here now, they run to Allyson for literally everything. I'll help them on their golf apparel. And our youngest, Tristan, is fortunately going to be following fast in Allyson's steps. So,
and I can admit, Alice and I have quite a few text messages exchanging clothing, especially boots. We both have a fascination with boots. And so if she sends it, it means I'm probably getting ready to go buy it, which isn't always a good thing, and vice versa.
As of 2 days ago, we were exchanging boots.
We did.
But you did send me a pair of boots, which then my, at the time, 18-year-old daughter asked to borrow, which to me was the highest compliment.
I mean, that's huge.
But we talked about that.
We did. So those things, those accent pieces, they can really elevate an outfit. And I love, Jimmy, you didn't talk about your shoe collection, but I sure appreciate Allyson keying me into that, because I did not know that. But I think it does allow for people to have more of their personality to show up. And as you said, right, like you feel better when you feel like your outfit really represents who you are. If you're playing it in a way, this feels conservative, but this isn't me, it shows. It's like I'm wearing this suit just because I have to wear this suit, not because I really believe in this suit or that this is what you will expect to see from me when I show up day one.
Yeah, we talk about it in the workforce, like bring your full authentic self to work every day, and whatever that is. So as long as it's in the boundaries of what your company allows, but you should dress to feel confident and dress for success.
Yeah, I love that. Krista, now help us get grounded in the student experience. How would you describe your personal style just on a typical Buckeye Thursday, like today?
I hate to say it, but I am not a fashionista. My typical day-to-day is whatever laundry I have clean at the moment.
You're representing the student voice. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Whether it's piecing together an outfit and hoping that it matches, going to class. In my professional life, I have the same 3 outfits that I alternate between for any interviews or anything like the sort. So yeah, mainly just whatever I have clean, comfy clothes, whatever can get me through my classes.
Absolutely. And that's, we're all at different points in life. So what you just said doesn't surprise me one bit. That's exactly probably how I was in college. Whatever was there, that's what we are wearing. And we hope that we look presentable, right?
Yes.
Fingers
Crossing your fingers.
That is the case. So we have this wonderful Reid Family Career Closet. And tell us a little bit about your first experience in utilizing the Career Closet.
Of course. So I've volunteered through the Career Closet for a long time, but my first time using it was actually earlier this week when I found out I was coming on this podcast. And my 3 outfits that I typically cycle between were not appropriate for this podcast, as I thought maybe something a little different. So nothing would come in time on Amazon. I'm a student. I don't have a car. I had no way of finding any sort of clothes available. And it came to me that I should just go use the Career Closet. So coming to the Career Closet, volunteering through there, I preach, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to utilize help. But being in the shoes of someone coming to utilize the Career Closet, I was nervous. I was rehearsing my story on the way there. How am I going to explain myself? How am I going to explain that I'm here? How am I going to explain why I need this? And I felt like I needed to come up with all of these reasons, or that I wasn't deserving of using this, but I'm an OSU student and it's open to all OSU students. So I just had to keep reminding myself, I'm allowed to be here. I'm allowed to use it. So I came in to use it. And my first thought was, again, I need to explain myself. But the front desk worker just smiled at me and said, go ahead and look around and see what you want. And all of a sudden, once I was in there, I wasn't nervous. I was like, this is for people like me. This is for students. And looking around, looking at all of the options, as a plus size woman, it's so hard to find outfits that fit and you feel like you look good in. But they had options for someone like me, which is so rare to find, especially in such a small center like that is ever expanding, that I wasn't expecting. On top of that, they had volunteers coming up asking me, hey, can we get you anything from the back? Is there anything else you're looking for specifically? How can we help you? My whole outfit today is, I forgot. My whole outfit today is actually from the Career Closet that I picked out. Awesome. And it was such an easy process getting to go through the shelves and pick out what I want. They had a dressing room there where I got to try on my clothes and make sure that I felt pretty in them and comfortable. And this is what I wanted. I even asked the front desk worker, I was like, do you think this is suitable? Do I look cute in this? And everyone there was so helpful and full of smiles. And it was obviously just such a wonderful experience. And again, I felt like I would be nervous using it, but actually in the process of using it, I felt like I deserved to use it and I belonged when I was using it. So I highly encourage anybody else out there who's feeling nervous. I promise once you get in there are no nerves to be found.
Well, can I say something?
I was going to ask you to. Yeah.
I want to say you look amazing,
yes.
Just like it says on the sign in the Reid Family Career Closet. You really, really do. And that just warms my heart that you were able to walk in there and you felt good and you look incredible.
Thank you so much.
I totally agree.
Is that not incredible?
Such a good story.
It's the reality of what you all have helped to create for our students. And the difference isn't just about there's clothes here. You're now impacting how people feel about themselves. And how rare is it that we get the opportunity in this life to do that? And so I'm taking a point of privilege here and just acknowledging you all again for this tremendous gift that you have given this Buckeye community and what a huge difference you're making. This is one story because Krista's with us. I bet we could open up the doors and there would be lines of other students who would have similar stories. So if you ever doubt your impact at Ohio State, stop it. Done. You have done. Wow, I got to get myself back together here.
I was going to say we learned from the very best there is, though, on my left, but okay.
Oh, my gosh. You all are just tremendous. Thank you, Krista, for sharing, and thank you for your vulnerability in that space. And you're right. I hope that more students will realize that it's their place. I think that was the whole dream that Allyson and Jimmy had, is that kind of that kind of impact. So thank you for sharing that. But now I do want to hear a little bit more from you, Krista, about your work in the Buckeye Food Alliance. You're the president. That's a big deal.
Yes, so I've been in the organization for 3 years. My first year was just as a general member, and then my second year I served as director of fundraising. And then at the end of my second year, I took over as president right as we were moving from Lincoln Tower to the Monda Student Resource Center. So part of my role has been expanding. Although our name is Buckeye Food Alliance, we've recently expanded to also include clothing insecurity as well. We've also expanded into looking out for clothing insecurity as long as food insecurity. So a lot of our projects and our missions this year not only expanded from doing like food drives and stuff like that, but to also clothing drives and helping people in that aspect. And that has been a huge honor to take on, and we couldn't have done it without you two. So thank you so much for providing that space and letting us expand our impact towards more than just food.
That's wonderful. Thank you for your leadership in that space, but more so, thank you for your heart for the work.
Thank you so much. I absolutely adore it. We started off as a team of 20 in the fall, but with expanding to all of these new places and things we're doing, our numbers have just hit above 60 members. So 60 volunteers.
Wow.
So not only are you helping Buckeyes, but you're helping Buckeyes help Buckeyes. And that's such a huge honor. It's something you can give us, and it means a lot to us. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you for your commitment. It's fantastic.
Unbelievable.
For our listeners, you can't see the goosebumps literally all over my arms, but it is so incredible to hear the impact, to know that it actually exists. And the vision for the Monda Student Resource Center is being operationalized or coming to be exactly as we'd all hoped. So thank you again for your continued leadership.
Of course, I absolutely love it. It's my favorite role I've ever been in, and I'm hoping to continue it following into next year.
Oh, good. Good. So you're not a senior?
No, I'm a junior.
How in the world?
Right, exactly.
Again, how are you doing all this? Krista, that's incredible. And you're in engineering?
Yes.
And computer science.
And computer science.
Computer science. Yes, I'm in both.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wowzer. All right, Allyson and Jimmy, back to you.
I don't know if we can compete with that.
I don't know how to keep going.
I don't want to compete with that.
We're just going to get back to sort of this idea of your desire when you learned about this opportunity to be a part of something bigger at Ohio State. Why was it important to you to really understand and want to invest in helping our students to have professional attire? Why did that resonate with both of you?
I'm gonna go. So it really felt very authentic to our beginnings, mine and Jimmy's, and they were meager in the beginning. I graduated first. I worked first. He was still in school. We moved to New York City for an $18,000 a year salary. I was having free rent while we lived here, so we took on rent, very little income. Jimmy was looking for a job. And once we moved to Manhattan, I took a second job at Banana Republic, which we always talk about. So I had a career by day, and I loved fashion so much. I was working in advertising, but I could never afford to buy clothes at all, anything. So I thought I'm going to work at the end of my block 2 nights a week, and I'm going to take advantage of the very steep discount they gave to employees. And I basically furnished our wardrobe for a couple of years. Through that, we would wait for things to go on sale, and it would get marked down, and we would still get a further discount.
Not just our wardrobe,
yes,
all of our Buckeye alum friends as well.
Who also were making their start, and it was meager for them too.
Yeah.
So we did help people along the way. And so when this opportunity came up, after I had joined Doc's board, it felt so genuine and native to who we were and our early beginnings, but also about fashion, but Buckeye. So it took all of these passions that we had together, Buckeye, fashion, helping our own beginning and what that looked like from the start. And it was just so natural that we jumped on it, and we sort of created what we could together from the very beginning. And it started with conversations, and it got came to fruition very quickly, but it's something we're so excited about and so proud of.
Yeah, I mean, Allyson hit on it, but just hit on a couple other points and amplify them. We love the school, obviously. We both graduated here. I have 2 graduates, 2 here now. So we'll be Buckeyes forever and ever, the Reid family. And we want to do something with the school other than what we were doing already. And it was just the perfect combination of a way to give to our school, but more importantly, to impact, just like the story that Krista mentioned, like how can we impact students in a different way? And obviously, in a humble and don't forget where we came from and create opportunities that for fellow Buckeyes that can feel comfortable and confident, even though they might not have the means or the ways to, be ready for that first interview. I mean, we joke about it, but I didn't have a suit for my first interview. I think I either borrowed a friend's or I wore a suit that was either way too big or way too small. I can't remember that far back. But it's an opportunity so that people can feel confident regardless of what they have. And, the story that Krista just mentioned kind of hit everything. It hit on all the buttons we wanted to, and have someone as talented and as committed as Krista, who has the whole world in front of her, she should feel totally, she shouldn't have to have a story going into the Reid. There's no story needed.
No story needed.
Every student here at Ohio State, if you're in a time of need for whatever it is, walk into the Reid Career Closet and pick out whatever you want and leave with it, like with a big smile on your face.
Oh,
there's nothing would make us happier.
That's fantastic. So you have 4 Buckeyes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you believe what you've modeled will impact and influence them going forward in life?
I mean, we have a slogan that we kind of use for our family. I use it outside too. It's called Humble, Hungry, and Smart. And it's not about IQ, it's about EQ. So I think that, as long as you stay humble as a person, I think people gravitate to you. Wherever you define your leadership skills as, everybody's a leader whether they want to be or not in life. I think hungry is that you can't forget where you came from, but also you can't forget that other people don't have the same lifestyle or the same opportunity as you. And there's a way to be hungry and be humble and combine that. And then smart is that, the Maya Angelou quote, like, how you make people feel, they'll never forget. And that's about EQ. And I think, fortunately, they have a great role model in Allyson, and they have a questionable role model in me.
That is not true.
No,
at all.
But as long as we want to be the family that people want to be around, right? Not just when times are good. It's like I'd rather be defined like in the time of need. Like, can you call the Reids?
That's fantastic. Well, we did, and you answered.
We did.
Thank you for doing that in so many different ways. Krista, let's talk a little bit about from a student perspective. What do you think people sometimes underestimate about how clothing impacts confidence and self-belief?
I think they underestimate that that's the first thing you see when you walk into an interview or you meet someone new. The first thing they see is your face, and the second thing they see is what you're wearing. So if you're looking good and you're feeling good, that projects someone that's put together and knows what they're doing. And especially in an interview, I think it's super important, because whether or not we would like to say we're judgment-free, a lot tells about a person about their outfit. So if someone walks up to you, they could be the most qualified candidate in the room. But if they're not wearing the right outfit, then they probably won't be as considered as if they were.
Say more about that. What do you think we can do at Ohio State to try and combat that?
I think just, for one, teaching people like what are appropriate things to wear, what are appropriate things not to wear. To interviews such as like a level of casualness versus not casualness. Like, you don't need to wear a 3-piece suit, but you should be wearing dress pants or a button up, or taking it seriously in these positions seriously. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
That was perfect.
I was going to say that was amazing, because we talked about that from the very beginning also, that the requirements for an advertising interview are very different for the requirements for a banking interview. And I think you hit the nail on the head. And one of the things that we also discussed early on, and this is a trick for you, and I hope you pass this along to anyone who comes to the Reid Family Career Closet. What I do is I have a file in my phone, a photo album in photos called outfits. So if I have an outfit on that I feel really good in, I take a picture of it in the mirror. And then if I'm quickly getting dressed for something and I don't have time to pick something out, I'll just go to that and I'll say, gonna wear that. And that way you don't have to think too much about what you're wearing. It provides a little bit of confidence because you already felt great in that outfit. But you are 100% right. And hopefully that when people walk into the Reid Family Career Closet, they're directed to those different types of appropriate attire for these different interviews or internships.
She has thousands of photos in her. I'm kidding. The other point, just for tips, having done thousands of interviews, is, and you hit on it, Krista, but ask the company what the requirements are, what the expectations are of what to wear in the interview. That's something that most candidates coming out of college don't feel comfortable to ask. They should totally ask that question because, to your point, you don't want to be underdressed. You also don't want to be overdressed. Mm-hmm. So when you do a career fair or you're doing interviews, whether it be at the Fisher School or whatever your major is ask the company, what are the requirements for the interview? What is the dress requirements? And no one asks that, and I would ask that every time if I was giving people advice.
That's really good advice. I also go to their website because they oftentimes have photos from various events that they've hosted. So I can get a good sense of what is the culture like at this place based on how people are dressed. So that helps me to think, okay, wearing a blazer and slacks is actually appropriate with this company. And they'll be okay if I wear sneakers with it because I saw someone with sneakers on. So that feels like it may not be the first outfit that I wear as I go into that particular business, but it's something that I feel like this could work. And you also figure out if it's a culture that works for you because if you're not wearing a three-piece suit person every day, that can be quite an adjustment for you. And is that the kind of place that you want to work?
Yeah. A blazer and slacks for men or women will always pass the test.
Yep. Agreed.
And I feel like also having some sort of backup. That's actually what I did today. If you notice, I'm in a button-up and dress pants. Yeah. And I currently have it unbuttoned because it feels like we are doing a casual vibe. Mm-hmm. But I was planning walking in, basing myself off of what you guys were wearing to go and button my button down and tuck it in my shirt and look like I'm wearing a button down and dress pants and a more formal attire. And I was going to base this complete outfit based on what you guys were wearing. So I feel like always having a backup plan for whether it's more casual or more formal is also important.
You're sure you're only a junior in college?
This is what I'm saying. I don't even...
First of all, you did an awesome job. Plus, you have two fashionistas with Doc and Allyson. So, I just wear what my wife picked out for me. So...
Good job, Alice.
I mean, he's very skilled when it comes to clothes.
Allyson and Jimmy, I can't even believe we're at 30 minutes. It just doesn't even feel real. But when you all walk into the space, you walk into the Reid Family Career Closet, and you see students there taking advantage of what you've been able to provide. They're picking out outfits for interviews or for internships. What goes through your mind?
Well, the first one I went to was right before the actual opening, and it was overwhelming to see. I thought there's no way we'll get anywhere near all of this merchandise. And by the time it was over, there was very, very little left. And it was just so rewarding to see students come in and help, some young students. Does this shirt and tie go together? No, it doesn't. Let me help you. So, and we would
remember that day.
Yes, exactly. And we would pull various, combinations, and we took multiple ties and said, take this white shirt and you can wear this to every single interview. Wear this suit and we'll just mix up the ties, and just those types of little tips that help. But it is magical to see it in action and just to know that just like we were at one time when we couldn't afford to go purchase anything, that there would have been a resource like this would have been so helpful to us.
We hit on it. It's overwhelming in a positive way to, see the space and, see our name there. It's a bit surreal at times, but we're very proud and also humbled and honored to be part of the school that we love so much. And I just think it's an opportunity. I mean, so much I travel across the country for work, and I had one of my partners that we do business with reach out to me last week, who lives in Cleveland, and said, "Hey, can you send me the address of the Reid Career Closet? I have a bunch of stuff I want to donate." And it just came up through a discussion that he didn't go to Ohio State, and so I just think that's what I feel most proud about, is that, with our contact list and the more that we can spread it out, whether you're a Buckeye or not, we won't, except from the team up north, kidding, but we will.
Maybe not.
But, anybody can donate and make a gift to the Reid Career Closet, and we will take it proudly and humbly and make sure that our students here at Ohio State are dressed to impress. So I feel really proud and humbled by it.
That's wonderful. Krista, why do you think resources like the Reid Family Career Closet are so important for college students today?
So I believe it's setting them up for a better future, especially in situations like when I volunteered in the pantry, I volunteered during the Reid Family Career Closet shift, and you wouldn't believe the amount of graduate students who were parents who would come in with their little kids, and they would walk around the store, or we called it the store to the kids because they obviously don't understand, but they were so excited to pick out clothes with their family, and watching graduate students make a better life for not only themselves, but their children. And it's so special getting to see them walk out with this professional attire, knowing that something that they're doing and something that they're wearing is going to help make their life and their children's life a little bit better.
Love it. It's just unbelievable. Parents, do we need kids' clothes? No, just kidding.
And we're off.
Yes. Maternity.
I bet I'm going to get an email tomorrow about how do we expand it to the babies, which is not something we can't do. Anyway, I won't get you going there.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Wait, what was?
Oh, I thought you were getting ready to say something.
No.
So, Krista, if it didn't exist, what would be the impact?
I feel like there would be a lot of unprepared Buckeyes out there, and also Buckeyes who felt like they couldn't be better because they're not dressed better. But I feel like being dressed for success gives you the confidence and the peace of mind to be more successful in life. I know originally, before the Reid Family Career Closet became a permanent thing, OSU had pop-up closets, which was basically the Reid Family Career Closet but on wheels, and they only happened maybe once or twice a semester. So having a permanent space where people can come whenever they need help 5 days a week, open Monday through Friday, most days from like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So more than enough time. The Reid Family Career Closet allows drop-ins and appointments to be made. So knowing that students have the availability to come even as soon as, like, if their interview's tomorrow and they have no idea what they're going to wear, they have a place on campus that they can show and know they have something that they can grab and they can put on to feel best for their interview.
So impactful.
Yes.
Huge.
Especially because it's a permanent space and it's not something that just happens twice a semester, because people are having interviews every week, every day. This is something that's happening all the time. So having a permanent space that students can go to has been a huge impact.
Krista, how do you think the location has impacted sort of destigmatizing a food pantry or the Reid Family Career Closet?
Of course. So the Reid Family Career Closet is located in the Youngkin Success Center, which is also located Monda Student Resource Center, all in the same place, but it's located on a major bus route. So students are able to take either the Coda buses or the Buckeye buses from pretty much anywhere on campus. So every student, regardless of their transportation, has a way to get to this location, which is super helpful. And the Reid Family Career Closet is placed within the Monda Student Resource Center, which has all of these helpful things for students, such as students able to get fresh food and hygiene products and counseling and access to Jordan, our student support specialist, and all these hoteling spaces. So students only need to ride the bus once or be transported once to have all of these incredible resources in one space. So they can get their clothes, their food, their hygiene products, and they can get it all at the same time and the same night. And I think that's so wonderful that students have access to that.
Jimmy, you're shaking your head.
I mean, I can't wait to see what she does with her career.
I know.
You are a fantastic, phenomenal Buckeye. So, I mean, to be a third year in and you're like a walking, encyclopedia for the Monda Career Center and the Reid Career Closet and a computer science, chemical engineering major.
Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It
So
really
keep
is.
it up.
Thank you.
2 last questions. And I'm trying to think if I want to organize them by the really funny ones. Okay, I'll do them both. Allyson and Jimmy, looking ahead, what is your dream? What is your dream for how this resource center will grow and continue supporting Buckeyes in their career development?
So I would say that my dream would be larger space. And we would be able to include new merchandise. So just basics. I would love to have a full collection of white button downs and khaki pants and blazers and skirts, socks, ties, just so that anyone could walk in and if for some reason there was not a donation that was available to them, there would always be something new. So that would be my long-term dream. But the way it stands now, could not have imagined a better situation. And we're fully stocked. I know that we have a lot of back stock as well. There have been times that we've gone to ship and they're like, wait, can you just, hold off a little bit? Because we have quite a bit of merchandise, but I would love to see some brand new apparel in there as options.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Allyson and I have some ideas. We have 4 children, so our goal is that this continues and only gets bigger and better with the Reid family over time and decades. But I think there's also, as we talk to our best friends who are all fellow Buckeyes, I think there's some creative ways we can see how we can enhance and expand what we're doing today to bring in new attire, but also there's other type of partnerships that we might be able to tap into, but we want to think that through.
That would be fantastic. I'm always willing to sit down with you and talk about those things. I'll even fly to Jersey. I don't mind doing that.
No,
since I do it every summer.
Yes, love having you there.
That's awesome. All right, Krista, when you think about your future self, graduated and in your career, how do you think this experience has helped prepare you?
I think it's helped me grow my empathy and my love for others. I love volunteering. I love helping others. I'm actually in another group that I'm president of, but we go to local foster homes, group homes in high school, and we give private music lessons to the children there, sorry.
No, you're fine.
And I also do that every week as well. So just situations like this, and especially helping in the Monda Student Resource Center, and seeing people like you who donate and give to students, it makes me want to do the same with my future career. So I'm hoping one day I have the opportunity to do the same thing, but be on your guys' side of this, where I'm helping students and I'm helping people. And it's a lifelong dream of mine. And to be in your shoes one day is my ultimate goal.
Oh, it will happen.
It will.
There's no doubt you
I
will.
will take the over.
Definitely. Sure. Absolutely. Thank you, Krista. Thank you so much for just everything that you do. And thank you for who you represent. I always tell people that Buckeyes are special. And they asked me to sort of define that. And I was like, that's what makes them special. They're all so unique. But there's a genuine centeredness around care for others that it is unlike anything I've ever been. And you represent the absolute best of Ohio State. So we are very fortunate that you chose us, for sure. And we're going to be super proud to call you an alum.
Thank you so much. There was no competition. I was coming to Ohio State.
Oh, good.
It was my top college.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, we're going to wrap up on a fun note.
Okay.
So, if the Career Closet had a theme song, what would you pick and why?
I mean, the first song that comes to my brain is Roar by Katy Perry.
Oh.
To me, it feels like an anthem that when someone walks in there and finds, their right outfit and they feel good in it, that they can go do anything and conquer that interview or that internship. And I feel like Roar is the perfect song for there.
I love it.
I had two. One is Better Together, Jack Johnson's song. But also Jay-Z's interlude allowed me to reintroduce myself. So those would be the combo, just because it's a way for Allyson and I and our family to kind of reintroduce ourselves back to Buckeye Nation.
That was powerful.
But he also loves Jay-Z.
I do.
Same.
I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, who doesn't? And that somehow brings us to the end, of today's episode of Doc's Download. And what a tremendous episode it has been. Allyson and Jimmy, I don't think I could say it any better than Krista, but I'm going to do my best to get even halfway there. Just thank you for everything you do to make Ohio State better. Your commitment is not just in word, but it's in deed, and you show up for Ohio State on days I'm like, what are you doing here? You were just here. What are you doing here? Your love for this place and your commitment to your family is really remarkable and something that you all should be very proud of. And we, again, are very grateful that you chose to be a part of the Student Life family and to support all the ways that we try and make the student experience better. You all have added to that exponentially. Krista, when I think about our time together today, you have reminded and maybe placed a very fine point on why the Reid Family Career Closet matters. We envisioned it, but the stories that come from what people experience there and the way that you represent your peers, and you encouraged your peers today to step out and ask. There's no shame in doing that, which again is exactly what we hoped would happen. So thank you for being an exceptional Buckeye. We couldn't be happier and prouder of you. Our Buckeyes now feel supported, they feel seen, and they feel valued. You can't do much better than that. All right, everybody. Whew, what a great episode. God, I can't believe I made it through without crying. That's also remarkable. Together, you all, these stories really do reflect the impact of community and generosity for our students. And that, I think, is a great example of who we want our Buckeyes to be. So if you loved this episode, which I know you did, everybody, please feel free to share this with other Buckeyes. We want these resources to be very widely known and highly utilized. Remember, there is no shame in asking for help. Buckeyes help Buckeyes. That's just what we do. So until next time, everybody, thank you so much for joining. And as absolutely always, go Bucks!
Go Bucks!
Go Bucks!
This program is a presentation of the Office of Student Life at The Ohio State University, recorded in the studios of WOSU Public Media. Your engineer is Dalton Jones, producers J. Randall Hicks and Matthew Swearingen, and executive producer Jen Vandemark. The views expressed are those of the host and guest and do not necessarily reflect those of the university. Join us next time for another edition of Doc's Download, the podcast.